If an ancient mother wore one small amulet, what exactly was she trying to keep away? In Assyria and Babylonia, people left a very specific answer in stone. On small plaques and pendants from the early 1st millennium BCE, a hybrid figure appears again and again, a fierce female being with an animal head, long grasping hands, and the talons of a bird. Her name could be written beside her, Lamaštu. Here's the first payoff: we aren't chasing a modern legend. We're looking at a named threat on objects meant to be touched, worn, and hung in the home. One British Museum amulet, dated roughly 800 to 550 BCE, shows Lamaštu standing on a donkey, with animals pressed to her body in a stark, symbolic pose. The scene is odd on purpose. It makes her instantly recognizable, like a wanted poster you can carry. Mesopotamians didn't separate medicine and ritual the way we do. Families could call on practical care, and also on words and images meant to push danger back over the threshold. Another famous example is a small obsidian amulet, dark, glossy, and portable, carved with her figure. You can imagine it on a cord, close to the skin, a private line of defense. These aren't art pieces. They're tools people trusted during the most anxious weeks of life. In the written record, Lamaštu appears in protective incantations and household rituals aimed at pregnancy, birth, and infancy. Some texts even call her daughter of Anu, linking her to the sky god, which makes her feel less like a random monster and more like a powerful, specific adversary. Tonight we separate fear from evidence. We can't prove a spirit entered a room. But we can prove what people carried, what they recited, and what they did to feel safe. So how do the sources introduce Lamaštu? Mostly through defenses, because people wrote down what to do when they were afraid. Clay tablets preserve long incantations addressed to her by name, alongside ritual instructions that read like checklists: what to recite, what to set out, what to tie, what to burn, and when to repeat it. This matters, because it means the tradition was meant to be copied. A specialist could learn the pattern, a household could recognize it, and a tablet could outlive the person who first feared the night. Some rituals treat the danger as something you can escort out. A small figure associated with Lamaštu may be prepared, given symbolic offerings, and then removed from the home, carried beyond the doorway and disposed of outside the living space. It's a way of turning panic into a sequence of steps. Name the threat, give it a route out, close the boundary behind it. The amulets match that logic. They don't hide the image, they exaggerate it. Talon feet. Animal head. Outstretched hands. Sometimes she's shown standing on a donkey, with animals at her sides, or holding snakes like warning signs. The picture isn't decoration. It's identification. And then we meet the famous counter-image, Pazuzu. He isn't presented as good, but he is used as a shield against Lamaštu. Almost like fighting danger with a controlled dose of danger. Bronze Pazuzu heads often have a ring for suspension, meant to hang close to the body. Museum descriptions even suggest them near women in labor, and mentions of brooch-like pins with his head applied to clothing, as if protection could be worn in layers. The household becomes a map of anxiety: doorway, bed, cradle, the place where breath should be steady. In that world, a small face of bronze staring outward could feel like one more guard at the threshold. Now for the careful part: what can we say without pretending these rituals worked? We can say Lamaštu was a stable, named figure in Mesopotamian protective practice. Her image and name appear on amulets dated to the early 1st millennium BCE, and her presence in repeated incantations shows she was treated as a specific target, someone you could address, threaten, and repel. Even the materials matter: stone plaques and obsidian pendants, objects built to survive handling, not just to be seen. We can also see the strategy: protection was layered. Spoken formulas, carried images, and a household arranged like a boundary system. The texts keep circling the same spaces: beds, doorways, cradles, because those were the places where a family felt most exposed. Design choices support that. A Pazuzu head isn't random decoration, it's made to hang, and some pendants are oriented so the face looks outward when worn. The goal is simple: turn away the danger before it reaches the body. But we can't prove the accusations as literal events. When a text blames a supernatural attacker for miscarriage or infant illness, that's evidence of belief and explanation, not a clinical record. The rituals tell us what people thought the danger was, and what they hoped could stop it. And Lamashtu's category is still argued about. Some ancient writing treats her name with markers that can look divine, and some traditions call her daughter of Anu. Yet her role in these texts is overwhelmingly hostile, and she seems to act on her own initiative. Modern scholars still debate what label fits: demon, goddess, or something in between. Next episode, we leave the cradle and move to the bed, the Alu, a night attacker tied to sleep terror traditions. So, if you lived there, which protection would you trust more? A. A Pazuzu head on a cord. B. A Lamaštu amulet by the bed.